Good morning. No stranger. Day 10. There is no day 9. Day 9 was a glorious 0. We are headed up Christine Lake. Take the trail up past Devil's Rest. We'll join the Cohos on the other side of the Stark bypass. I'm not sure, it might be more miles this way, but they are good miles. Was able to get a shower, laundry. Had to eat trail food the first night and morning, but last night I feasted. This morning I feasted. So you can see I'm smiling. The birds are singing. Life is good. We will start off on a little snowmobile trail and turn into a logging road. Then we'll head up, join the trail, and then we'll climb up Percy. Hopefully. You'll see what the legs have to say. They were enjoying their 0 day. I'm not sure what they're going to say about climbing this morning or this afternoon. But we're pretending as though we've turned the page on this hike and everything's going to go better now. So let's see how that goes. Yeah, that's all I can say. Let's see how that goes. Well, we just had a lovely little break at that rock. We're about to head to the meat of the climb up this side of Percy. Yeah, this might be the gristle first, and then we'll hit the meat in a little bit. But we're off the more rolling trail. We're just about to start. The part where you've got to work a little harder, pick your feet up. There's one little ledge up here. I prefer to come down than go up, actually, because you can kind of jump off of it. Climbing up it, it's hard for an old fat man. But there's no rocks around to use for a step. It's just always that way. You gotta get up there. Oh. Well, for the most part, we're feeling pretty good about being out here. The legs, on the other hand, are not happy about walking again. I think they really, really liked taking that day off. And they're not sure they want to go back to walking. Don't go in, that looks deep. Ooh. But yeah, they're burning. I'd rather they didn't do that. These are the repercussions of not properly training. Too much time doing other things. I hear this is how some people hike. They just go out on trail and get their legs. It's like, oh, this really is hard. It's a lot easier if you're in shape when you get out here. Based on my memory, anyway. I'm not trying to give you advice here. I am not the person to take advice from. I'm here as a cautionary tale. I don't throw myself out as an expert. I'm a madman who doesn't know when to stop. But that doesn't necessarily mean you want to emulate my techniques. I don't want to emulate my techniques. I do what I gotta do. For some reason I gotta do this. I don't know if we can do it. I've been thinking, technically, since we made it through the Kilkenny this time, I just have to do the last 50 miles. And I've section hiked the loop. So worst case scenario, they've got to airlift me out of Canada. I could still come back and finish and call myself a section hiker. But section hiking a loop just doesn't sound right. You section hike a through hike trail, a straight line. You hike in sections. But a loop, well, you got to go all the way around. That's what makes it a loop. I don't know, I may have said that to you yesterday. Look at this. I know your content providers, they'll stage a shot like that for you, but yeah, you just got lucky. So, you think that's the trail? All right, let's go that way. Whew. Yeah, oh, this is where the burning is going to start again. I had some issues with my winter cycling career this year. That is, I think, a big part of the problem. I didn't do the water tower hills, but I definitely didn't do the cycling. Just a little bit. Alright, I gotta turn you off. I'm babbling. These videos get too long. That's all you're gonna see of Percy Peak today. Sorry. Well, you can see the sign too. I am opting to conserve time and energy in the interests of my own well-being. Things are going well. I don't want to screw it up. I know it's like 90 minutes if I climb up there and have lunch. I can go down the trail a little bit here, have lunch next to the stream, make some water, and increase my odds of making it to camp in one piece tonight. So I apologize. I have been up there before. You could go through my videos and see. I believe last year we summited, and I think in 21 there may have been a southbound Cohos through hike that summited. Maybe in 23 on the long off loop. Yeah, sure, maybe. I don't remember. Sometimes I go up there when the weather's nice like this. I like to. It's a great place to have lunch. Fantastic views. But like I say, that's time and energy that I may regret at the end of the day. There's a long hill at the end of the day you gotta get over to get to where the next shelter is. And I remember climbing up it last year, wishing I was there. So, it's not too hot. I mean, I got really sweaty climbing, but now that we've leveled out here near the top, I can feel the air. It's not too bad. It's probably about 60. It'll be nice when we stop. Oh. But you can see the beautiful little mossy forest. It's not like I'm keeping you in my pocket. I let you out. Look, there's the sky. No, it's a beautiful day up there, I'm sure. But yeah, despite that huge dinner and a pretty big breakfast, I think my stomach is saying it's ready for some food. Well, I just gotta not break my neck before we get there. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna put you away so I can walk faster. I'll probably pull you out when we're there. Finished Percy Loop. Now, the fabulous Trio Trail awaits. We're not going very far right now. This is where I like to get my water. The tent site is just up ahead. So we'll finish our lunch break over there. The tent site says water down that way, but the trail crosses right here. And for some reason, I've got a thing about getting my water above a trail crossing. So, because I know there's people walking their feet through this water. I don't want to drink it down there. The moose, the elk, the sheep, I don't care about. Those people, they get their boots dirty and they walk in that water. No, I don't know what it is. Psychological thing. I get my water up there. Maybe it's because you can walk downhill with the water instead of having to climb uphill with the water from where they say to get the water. But I'm not that smart, so it's probably not that. Percy Loop tent site. It's just a tent site and a latrine. But I've camped here with my family. We hung our hammocks in the neighborhood. It works. I've definitely seen people tenting here, so I know that it works for tenting. But we're hamburgers. Well, I'm going to finish my break. I guess I could sit on the bear box if I want a bench, but no, I'm going to sit on this. And then we'll paddle off on the trio. Hopefully it's going to be good. I hear they cleared it just yesterday. They apologize. It's not been mown. It's not been trimmed. But we shouldn't have giant blowdowns to deal with. So we're very, very happy. I'll see you later. Yeah, the extended lunch break took over an hour. About an hour. Hopefully it pays off. So far we're rolling along pretty good. Except for my hip is falling apart, but that's a personal issue. I think it's from sleeping in a bed the last couple of nights. I really like my hammock. Oh, yeah. But yeah, there's something in my hip that's not happy today. We'll have to see. But yeah, many things are going really well. So we're happy about those. The forest is a beautiful place right now. It's warmed up a little bit. Could use an afternoon breeze. Mostly we're going downhill, but I learned last year that parts of this downhill are uphill. So when you get to those, you should slow down, and there's a reason why it feels like you're working harder, because you are. It's actually not downhill in all places. It's kind of deceptive. But earlier, when we first started, we were really rolling along nicely. Yeah, I really like this trail. I fell in the mud on it once, and so I'm a little mad about that part, but otherwise, this is one of my favorite trails on the whole Cohos. And I like a lot of the Cohos, don't get me wrong. It's just very pretty, relaxing walk. Either direction. It's a nice way to climb up. Ooh. We're walking through some poor bird's house here. Got little babies scattering into the brush. Well, we didn't step on any, so that's... I always hate when they put their nests right on the trail, because they get very upset. They're afraid you're going to eat their babies. There's a woodpecker nesting right above the tent platform there at Percy. You could hear there's multiple babies in there. When the bird came back with food, there'd be lots of squeaking in there. So there's gonna be lots of baby woodpeckers around here next year. All right, I'm gonna put you away. I've got to toddle on this terrain, shall we call it. the beautiful Pond Brook. And we're on the Pond Brook Falls Trail, and that brook goes to the falls, so I'm gonna go with that. Well, load up a little extra water. Some in my belly. No, I'm really slow. And my shorts aren't tucked into my hip belt in my pack, so my shorts are falling off. I get a lot of trouble. Yeah, I just took a break. It's really hard to do anything after a break. Maybe after a morning break, but after an afternoon break, I'm actually literally walking away without my hiking poles. Holy cow. All right, I gotta go. We can't stay. We have to go. So I could sit there for a very long time. There's even more of the cascade if you go farther up, go off trail onto the brook. It's quite nice. I have my poles. We're good. But yeah, we gotta go and get where we're going. Because if we get where we're going, we could have soup and put our legs up in the hammock. And I'm sure there's other things we want to do too, but those are the things I've been thinking about so far. The soup really would be good, and yeah, after a couple nights in a bed, I'm really ready for my hammock. But so far, this is what a hiking day is supposed to be like, kind of. I mean, it could have been a little faster, but I'm making reasonable time. We haven't had to be climbing over trees every 2 minutes. This is key. We climbed over mountains, we climbed down mountains and hills and dales, but when you don't have to constantly stop and figure out the puzzle and then navigate the tree and then figure out where the trail is, this has been a joy. Well, I'm a little sweaty and I think there's something biting the back of my leg, which they're really not supposed to do. Check to see who's behind. Look at us. This is good. This is very good. We're supposed to be here. And the breeze out here maybe will blow away with whatever is trying to chew on my leg. CT, this way. Look, more signs. That's why I like this part of the Cohos. We have signs here. You know you're on the Cohos and you know where to go next because there's signs. Down there in the wilderness, you kind of know where you're going. But the signs are just nice. They make you feel like you're part of something special. I am part of something special, apparently. There's multiple hikers out here in front of me. I don't know how they've been able to stay in front of me. No. I took a 0 yesterday, so they may have passed by me yesterday. Most people hike this trail faster than I do, and I'm okay with that. Some people hike it way too fast. I'm not okay with that. I will tell them, oh, I'm sorry you couldn't get more time. But yeah, bragging about doing this trail in a week, nah, no, that's not a brag. That means either you couldn't get enough vacation, or you weren't smart enough to figure out that, no, this trail's a lot better if you do it slower. The slower you do it, the better. The shelters up here are all fabulous. You want to stay at every one. I've heard of people skipping over some of my favorite shelters, and I just don't understand. Now, they got to do what they got to do. Some people don't have the vacation time. Some people have something to prove with these crazy speed race things. I wouldn't know about that. I'm more into these crazy long distance endurance things where they'll never find your body if you fail, because you failed alone. Yeah, that pretty much sums me up right there. But if I'm gonna fail, I'd rather fail alone. I don't want people watching me. It's not pretty. All right, I gotta turn this off. On top of Arm. I sure hope, because we're going down. And I don't want to give up that much elevation if I gotta climb it again. Holy cow. That's quite the stump up that hill. It's like 2.5 miles, mostly climbing. It's not terribly steep the whole way, but parts of it are a little steeper than others. And whew, you just can't stop. If you stop, then you gotta start from a dead stop. So the goal is to not take breaks on the way up, which is really hard because it's really hard getting up there. For an old fat man, I know you could do it. But yeah, I said at the end of the day that was going to be hard. But the legs, they were very brave. The same legs that were burning all morning long, they didn't complain about that climb. They heard that there was going to be soup, maybe double rations, who knows. But they're very excited about soup and maybe some dark chocolate later. So they said, okay, we're going to do it. So I just had to convince the rest of my body to carry the legs up there. Yeah, over the top. Now we're going down. Oh, we better not miss our turn. We don't have to turn around and come back up. No, the privy's pretty close to the trail, so it's usually what I notice. Yeah, very excited. You know, soon. Soup. Hello again. Things are looking good. I was so busy eating, I totally forgot all about you. I made so many promises to my legs on the way up this last hill. Holy cow. I told them they could have as much soup as they wanted, and a good dinner. Dark chocolate with Snickers on top. And they remembered after I had dinner, which turned out to be one of the best bags of beef stroganoff I've had in my life. Yeah, the legs were like, hey, wait, remember? It's like making a promise to your kids. They're not going to forget it. They didn't forget. No, they had their chocolate. They've got more snacks coming. But I wanted to say goodnight to you guys because you haven't had many opportunities to see me in camp. I haven't been presentable. Or even in camp. I mean, there's been some really late nights. But today there were no trees in my way. I mean, there were some trees climbing up the other side of the mountain. And my legs were really burning climbing up that mountain. But amazingly enough, here at the end of the day, they just said, okay, we're ready. We're going to just do this. Let's go get that suit. Yeah, no brakes on that hill. It was like 2.5 mile climb. It's not really a mountain, but it's just really steep. Here, let me show you on camp a little bit. Sorry. This is the old hermit shelter. It's not big, but the Cohos is not crowded, so it doesn't need to be. It's nice and deep. So if it's raining, you definitely, your toes, they're not sticking out in the water. This was built in 2012, I think. It was pretty new the first times I came through here. But my hammock trees have gotten kind of old and dead. I've hammocked out here in front every time before, but one time we had 3 hammocks set up over here. But yeah, I've moved to the back. There's a spot back here that's looking pretty good now. So I don't know if somebody graded it. But we're pretty excited about this whole thing because we're sleeping in the hammock tonight, which I'm hoping is going to get my hip back in alignment because that's been complaining. And then the big fun of the day. Sometime, I think when we arrived here at camp, the zipper on the pouch that holds my phone broke. So I need that phone all the time for navigation to make sure that I'm not lost. Because, you know, I've been known to get lost. It's kind of important to verify. I was looking at the Avenza map to see if I'd accidentally walked past the shelter. And the Avenza map just kind of vaguely says, there's a shelter. So I had to pull up my Earthmate and look at my previous messages. So on the map I can see where I sent messages previously, and I can see where I said I was setting up camp here before. So I wasn't lost. I was right on trail, headed right here. But I was worried I'd gone too far. I didn't want to go down the hill and then have to go back up because the legs were not going to do that. All right, you can see I'm very excited. I've had a lot of food, chocolate, candy, very happy. I'm going to go lay on the hammock and listen to the birds sing. I talked to one, he said he's going to wake me up at 4 o'clock in the morning, so I figured I better get my sleep while I can. But hopefully things are looking up. We've got a couple more of these days full of climbing, and then things are really mellow for the rest of the week. Really mellow. So, motivated. Get through the next couple of days. Take it easy. Rest up for Canada. I may have to go to Canada. What can you do? Alright, night night.